fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver, the Lone Ranger. With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver. Let's go, big fella. I'll Silver! Aye! Oh, easy, steady, big fella.
Easy, Scout.
The Lone Ranger and Tonto arrived in the hills outside Freehold on the same afternoon that outlaws Rafe Logan and Bart Hanley passed through the town. The Lone Ranger said to Tonto,
Tonto, we haven't been in this section in more than 3 years.
And that time we helped Sheriff catch Wayne Brother gang in Valley.
Yes, you're right. We'll stay here a few days until we learn what the situation is in this area. Let's set up camp now. In the morning, we'll ride into town and talk with Sheriff Lackey. How long we stay here will depend on what he tells you.
As the masked man and Indian pitched camp, outlaws Rafe Logan and Bart Hanley arrived at the Lazy W Ranch House, 4 miles on the other side of town.
Steady.
Hello, Bart. Hi, Rafe.
Hi, Jess.
Go on in.
They were received enthusiastically by the one person then on the ranch. He was outlaw Jess Lawton, like themselves, a fugitive from Texas justice. And he was known in Freehold as Jess Lawrence, foreman of the Lazy W Ranch.
Boys, it's good to see you. You got my message, huh?
Got your letter right here in my pocket, Jess. According to you, something big's in the wind. What is it?
Bart, you notice, don't you, that the ranch is deserted?
Yeah? Where is the outfit? On the range?
No, they're in Dodge City. The whole kit and caboodle of them went there with the cattle herd.
Well, how come you're not with them, Jess?
Because I told the owner, Tom Wiley, I was sick. I told him at the last minute, so he had to go on without me.
Were you sick?
Yeah, Rafe. Sick of working for wages and food after years of high living in Texas. I stayed behind and sent for you so we could get ourselves $30,000 cash money.
$30,000?
Yeah, it's the price old man Wiley was asking for his stock, and according to the telegram he sent me yesterday, it's the price he got.
He's sold the beef already, huh?
Yeah. And according to Wiley's telegram, he'll arrive in town tonight on the stagecoach that gets in at 10 o'clock. And, boys, he'll be carrying the money. That's why I say you got here just in time.
Jess outlined a plan for stealing Wiley's money and told them of a secret hideout he had arranged where they could hide after the robbery, a spot 5 miles from the ranch. Rafe was concerned about the distance.
5 miles? Well, that's close, isn't it?
Sure, but the place you'll hide in is safe. It's a cave hidden in the thickest woods in the hills. A cave an Injun once showed me before he got himself killed. I'm the only one who knows where it is.
Easy, steady, boy.
That afternoon, the 3 men went to the cave, situated atop a slope, close to a mountain stream, and screened by thick underbrush and vines.
Boys, this is great, huh?
Yeah.
Bart, put the lantern on the rock over there. I'll put the food here. Make yourselves to home. I'm going back to the ranch, and I'll be seeing you later.
Will McKean Jr. and his wife had left their farmhouse in the foothills and gone to Kansas City for farm equipment. They left their son Joe in the care of grandfather Will McKean. That evening, as the outlaws planned robbery, Joe McKean and his grandfather planned a fishing trip in the morning.
Joey boy, I'll take you to a stream where nobody's ever been, except a few Injuns and me.
Gosh, Gramp, where's the place? In that secret forest you told me about?
That's the place, boy.
You mean it's near the cave where you used to hide when the Injuns chased you?
Yeah, right near it, Joey. Real close.
When rancher Tom Wiley arrived in Freehold that night, he held tightly to the valise, which he had carried every minute of the time since leaving Dodge City. He was met by his foreman, Jess Lawrence, and the 2 men rode back to the ranch without incident.
Easy.
They dismounted in front of the stable, and Jess said,
Mr. Wiley, do you mind holding on to my horse and leading him inside with yours? I'll walk ahead and light the lantern.
Well, give me the reins.
Here you are, sir.
Jess led the way into the stable, with Wiley and the 2 horses a few paces behind him. In the faint light of the moon, Wiley saw his foreman bend over to pick up the lantern from the floor. Then, before he could shout a warning, a figure leaped from the darkness and brought a gun crashing down on Jess's head. Wiley dropped the reins and reached for his gun, but another figure moved in behind him and swung. 1,000 stars exploded before the eyes of Tom Wiley as he fell to the ground unconscious. Rafe and Bart found their way back to the cave with the aid of the lantern Jess had provided. They placed the money-laden valise behind a small boulder, arranged the lantern, and lighted cigarettes.
Bart, it was just as easy as Jess said it would be.
Yeah. Say, Rafe, we gonna stay holed up in this foul-smelling place all day tomorrow?
No, we have an idea where we are now. During the day, we'll give ourselves an airing and look down on the trails from one of the hills around here. Maybe we'll see the posse's looking for us.
The sun was up a few hours when Jess Lawton, alias Lawrence, went through the act of releasing himself from the bonds that had tied him since the holdup the previous night.
Mr. Wiley, I finally got the ropes off. Those rattlers. I'll untie you now. How do you feel?
I'm sick, Jess. My head hurts something awful.
Let me get these ropes off your ankles. There. Now I'll carry you inside and put you to bed. Then I'll ride to town and tell the sheriff, and I'll get you a doctor while I'm there. Ho, easy. Sheriff Lackey.
Jess, what's the matter? What happened to your head?
It's robbery, Sheriff.
Huh?
2 crooks held up Mr. Wiley and me last night. They beat us bad and got away with $30,000.
What?
You better round up a posse, Sheriff, and set out after them. When they left, they were heading down the valley road. I heard them say so.
Jess, I'll be right with you. Soon as I tell my wife where I'm going. I'll only be a second.
I'll meet you outside, Sheriff. I'm going to get a doctor for Mr. Wiley.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger adventure. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue. The Lone Ranger and Tonto, in accordance with their plans of the previous day, rode to the outskirts of Freehold that morning.
Oh, Silver. Oh, easy, steady, big fella. Easy now.
They arrived about an hour after the sheriff and posse had left town. Tonto went alone to the sheriff's office and returned within a few minutes bearing news of the robbery, which had been reported to him by the sheriff's wife. The Lone Ranger's reaction was immediate.
Too bad we waited so long to come here this morning, Tonto.
Well, maybe it's not too late. Join posse, if sheriff want us.
We know where the Lazy W ranch is located. Let's circle around the town and go there at once. Easy, steady, big fella.
Easy, fella.
Come on, Silver.
Let's come.
Oh, Silver.
Who's got no, fella?
Tonto, here's the ranch house, but there's no sign of the posse.
Fresh hoof prints all over, Kimasabi.
Yes, I see them. The posse's been here and gone. Easy, steady, big fella. Perhaps we better find out if there's...
Oh, there, masked man.
Kimasabi, look, front door. That doctor we meet in town last time we here.
Yes, Tonto. Hello, Dr. Fleming. We'll be right with you.
I was just about to leave old Tom Wiley when I looked out the window and saw you two coming. I knew your horses as soon as I saw them. Come in, come in.
The doctor told of treating Tom Wiley for head injuries, then introduced them to the rancher. Tom Wiley, weak but resolute and impressed by the presence of the almost legendary masked man, told his story from beginning to end. He concluded,
And if my foreman, Jess Lawrence, hadn't kept trying and finally busted free of those ropes, the two of us could have laid there till doomsday and died.
It's too bad the crooks had such a head start. Their trail will be cold by now.
Well, maybe, but at least we know they headed along the valley road.
Is that where the posse has gone?
Yes, Jess went with them. Why?
Did your foreman actually hear the crooks say they were going to escape by way of the valley?
Yes, he came to just as they were getting ready to leave the stable, he said. He heard them say that they were going to meet their pals in the valley. Of course, they didn't know he heard them.
If the crooks were sure your foreman was conscious, they might have said what they did so he'd report it later and lead the posse on a wild goose chase.
Yes.
Say, that could be. They might have at that.
They could have started out along the valley road, leaving enough of a trail to encourage pursuit that way. But if they're smart and want to escape, they'd almost certainly backtrack and make a getaway through the hills.
Kimasabi.
Yes?
Maybe it's good idea we go into hills.
I'm sure it would be, Tonto. And that's what we'll do immediately.
Hey, Glory, what was that?
Thunder, Mr. Wiley. I noticed storm clouds in the sky as we came here.
We go pronto, Kimasabi. It start rain soon.
Yes, and that means any trails may be washed out. Let's go, Tonto. Oh, Mr. Wiley.
Yes?
We'll return later. Meanwhile, if the sheriff comes back, tell him what we're doing.
I'll do that. Thanks, mister. And good luck to you.
Tonto, finding a trail's almost impossible in this storm. Let's start a search, just in case the crooks may be local outlaws who have no idea of escaping.
You mean maybe them have hideout?
Yes, the very fact that they knew about Wiley and his money proves they had local knowledge.
That's right.
Let's begin looking in the places we know. We're right as far as the brook, right along there, and while we do, we'll stop at Bat's Cave, Indian Cave, and the others along the banks. Come on, Silver.
Get off, Scout.
Early that morning, Rafe Logan and Bart Handley had left the cave. They found a vantage point in the hills less than a mile away, and they remained there watching the trails for some trace of activity from lawmen who might be seeking them. They saw none. Now, caught in the sudden downpour, they mounted their horses.
Steady, boy. Well, we better get back to the cave, Bart, and stay there. Come on, get up there. Get up.
Shortly after the crooks had left their hideout that morning, two other persons had appeared on the nearby scene. Will McKean and his grandson Joe began to fish in the stream that flowed along the bottom of the wooded slope that led to the supposed secret cave. When the summer storm broke in all its fury, Grandpa McKean turned to Joe.
Joey, boy, I should have heated my bones instead of the morning sky. I knew this storm was brewing.
Gosh, Grandpa, this is a bad one. Did you see the way the lightning hit that tree over there?
Yes, I sure did. Lightning's dangerous stuff. That's why I think we better go up the hill here, boy, and stay in the cave till this storm breaks.
Cave, Gramp? The secret cave you were telling me about?
That's right, Joey. Come on, boy. I'll get here atop the hill. Right through all these trees and bushes that seem all together.
Once inside the cave, it was apparent that others knew of its existence.
Gramp, look it. Huh? There's a lantern over there on the rock. It's lit.
Well, cat all flies. How could a thing like that be?
And Gramp, look at what's over here beside this rock. It's a suitcase, kind of. A real heavy one.
Well, put down that valise before you strain yourself. Let me have a look at that. Well, it's got initials on it. T.W. T.W. Now, who could that belong to?
Why don't you look inside and find out, Gramp? Huh? Maybe there's something inside that'll tell you.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I'll look.
Gramp! Huh? Gee, oh golly, Gramp, it's money.
Jumping polecats is more money than I ever saw before in my life.
Stop it!
Hey!
Your life's not going to last a second longer. You don't drop that money fast.
Two of them.
And Gramp, they're pointing guns.
Guns which are going to go off, Sonny. Step out here, you. You too, old man.
Give me a hand, Joey. Don't be afraid of these two varmints.
Who you calling a varmint, you old...
Let them alone.
All right. How'd they get here?
That's what we're going to find out. Who they are and how they got here. You, mister. Who are you?
It's none of your business. We just come here to get out of the storm.
We asked you who you were. Now tell us, and don't be smart. Come on!
You leave my Grandpa alone. Leave him alone.
Well, stop it, you young horn toad, or I'll whop you one across the ear.
Don't you touch him.
Throw punches, will you? Well, here's some for you.
Stop it. Stop hurting my Gramp.
I'll hold my own with it.
Stop it. Stop it. Help. Help. Somebody help my Gramp.
Stay quiet. Yelling's not going to do you a bit of good, but shut up.
Well, old man, you got enough?
No, I haven't.
Suppose you try someone younger.
A masked man.
And an Indian.
Don't go for your gun.
No, what?
You want the same, Rafe?
No. I wouldn't have a chance against two of you, you and the Indian.
You are smart. Take his gun, Tonto.
Me take it.
Gee, mister, you're our friend. Here, I'll take his gun.
Keep those hands high. Thanks, son. Tonto, suppose you bandage Bart Hanley's arm.
Me do it. Raise arm. Let me look.
You know us, don't you? You said our names.
Anyone who ever saw an outlaw poster in Texas knows who both of you are, Rafe.
Outlaws? Gosh, did you hear that, Gramp?
Yeah, Joey. But you, masked man, if you're a good one, how did you get here?
We were searching for the men who robbed Tom Wiley. We knew this cave was here.
And Jess said he was the only one who knew it.
Jess Lawrence said that?
Yeah, he was real wise. Looks like everybody in Freehold knows this place.
Masked man, that money over there, you see it?
Yes.
The initials on the suitcase are T.W. That money must belong to Tom Wiley, huh?
Yes, it does belong to him. That's why, sir, we'll return to the Lady W Ranch and tell him about this. We'll also give him back his money and turn these outlaws over to the authorities. And we'll see Jess.
The storm had ended. The posse, headed by Sheriff Lackey and the crook who called himself Jess Lawrence, had returned to the Lazy W ranch house. Jess was talking to Tom Wiley.
It looks, Mr. Wiley, as if the crooks made a clean getaway.
I wouldn't say that, Jess.
Hey, commerce man.
Hold your guns, men. This man is my friend.
Sheriff, we have 2 prize catches for you. Tonto, herd those 2 robber outlaws in here.
You go in and keep hands up.
All right.
Sheriff, Mr. Wiley, meet Rafe Logan and Bart Hanley, the men who robbed you.
What? Logan and Hanley? Why, they've a big price on their heads.
Yes, Sheriff. So has Jess Lawton. Meet him. Say hello, Jess.
Jess Lawton, the outlaw? You mean...
Watch him, he has a gun.
God, I'm shot. My wrist.
Joey, you mean he had a gun?
Mister, you mean Jess was in on the robbery?
Mr. Wiley, it'll be hard for you to believe at first, but Jess planned the robbery. Bart Hanley had a letter in his pocket from Jess, asking him and Rafe to help rob you. And here it is.
Bart, you fool.
Oh, they found it in my pocket when they was bandaging me.
Well, somebody bandage me, and I'll tell all anyone wants to know. You 2 dumb galoots getting yourselves caught.
Sheriff, I'm sure you're in for a lot of confessing.
Yeah. It looks like these hombres are going to try to out-talk each other.
And you'll not need us any longer. Come along, Tonto, and adios, everyone.
Goodbye.
Gramp, he's walking out. Mister, thanks for saving us. Thank you, mister.
He sure did save us, Joey.
Well, he saved a lot of other people before you, just as he saved many more in the years ahead. Saving lives and fortunes is his career. So is saving the West. He's the Lone Ranger.
This is a feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated, created by George W. Trendle, produced by Trendle Campbell Muir Incorporated, directed by Charles D. Livingston, and edited by Fran Stryker. The part of the Lone Ranger is played by Brace Beamer.